Today I'm be going over Kait, her abilities, cards, and ideal setups. We have her ultimate ability. Kait will be hidden from enemies while camouflage is active. Now, it is worth noting that if you shoot your gun, you lose your camouflage. You can execute lots of drones and normally executable enemies if you come at them from the side or the back. Power from nearby kills is increased by 20%, 25%. Now, that's basically a slide distance. A little shorter than a slide distance is a nearby kill. Just check out, get a couple kills if you want to know the exact distance, and see where you get the power increase and when you don't. We have the overstock, and the overkill, recoil, and bloom is reduced by 70%. Now, this card is excellent. The recoil at level 4 and even at like level 3, and I want to say even like 2, I mean, it's basically a sniper rifle. If you line up the center of the sight, the little circle inside of the cursor, you can land headshots like halfway across the maps. The bloom reduction is like the light effect that you see, so it allows you to fire burst shots, and you can actually at like level 4 you can just tap 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 and it's gonna basically stay still, so when you need to go in on somebody it's not gonna be all over the place and you can pretty much land it where you want. We have bleeding enemies take 80% more damage from Kait. Now this card seems to immediately increase the initial damage of the card. So I guess because they're immediately bleeding, they take more damage. I'm not sure. But when you put it on and you go to your shotgun, it immediately gives you that bonus. So I don't tend to see it too much on the first shot. I'm not really sure. 80% more, I'm not really. But it seems to take the overall damage. Shotgun's damage causes bleed for 90% of damage. And this card is also excellent because it causes the enemies to bleed. So these two cards together is pretty much what can make Kait a shotgun god. Now I have the custom Nasher on. I'll get into setup in a minute. 10% increased damage and active effects. So it increases your Nasher past all this. Overkill ammo capacity, pretty straightforward. It increases your max ammo capacity. Score boost affects your team score, but it only applies to you. The rest of the team won't reap benefits. Sim capacity is increased from 90%. This actually only does you any good if you're also running the execution card. Duration increased by 20%. So that increases your cloak. I've seen a lot of people, instead of running the overkill, not really a lot, but some, use the Nasher and then they'll use the cloak. And 24% resistance to damage while stemmed. So if you get the stem, then you get less damage on those initial hits afterwards. Damage resistance from explosives, straightforward. You get resistance from explosives. That includes grenades, drop shots, salvos. This allows you to long reach, increase power pickup distance, allows you to pick up power from further, great as a starting card. Executing enemies gives stim, so when you execute enemies, whether you're in your cloak or in normal gameplay, you will receive a stim. Team score, same thing as the other team score. Increase reload speed for your Nasher and overkill. And this, while killing bleeding enemies, extends your cloak. So if you're already in cloak and you kill somebody, which is why I think this card actually, you're not going to be killing really a bleeding enemy. You cause the bleed, they die. So the game kind of counts it as the same thing, which gives you that initial boost of why your shotgun hurts. And you have the power boost right at the start, or actually on the first shot. Whether, as it reads, it sounds like it really should be the second shot. But if you can execute a lot of enemies, if you like to use your cloak and go in on a lot of enemies, this would allow you to execute enemies for longer. So on to my picks. I like the overkill setup. This, I think, no matter what setup you use these two cards and you have at least one Nasher or overkill. I like the overkill because it is very powerful. I don't drop my Nasher, but it makes me able to snipe headshots on like snipers halfway across the map, hit them twice in the head, and then they bleed out. The lower waves that bleed out in one on the snipers. I'm debating dropping the custom Nasher, but I would never drop my Nasher with the laceration and the shotgun damage. I like the overkill capacity since I'm running this, but this is also debatable. It really depends whether I really need 20 shots or more. In the later waves, I do go through more than 20, and even with 2 on the locker, I do like the ability to have the ammo capacity. But instead of that, you could easily run the shotgun reload boost, or you could run the increased duration of your cloak. I think either one of those is very suitable to exchange for the ammo capacity. But at 24, 26, I get 28 shots with it when it's maxed. I'm kind of good with that. I like the 28. That's about how short I run before I really need to switch into the Nasher. So I don't want to have to switch into the Nasher if I don't have to. Because the overkill will let me hit halfway across the map. But the Nasher I can't. The Nasher is close range to like short to mid range. You can't hit those long distance shots. With the overkill, I can play it close up and switch to my Nasher and it still be powerful. Or I can have the overkill and I can be taking out long range targets. So this is the setup I like right here. It allows her to be very powerful, and with her normal abilities, like once you got your base going and you're upping your abilities, her normal abilities increase her health, regen, so she doesn't need all like that extra stem power as a beginning card. I mean, you wouldn't be running this setup once you start with this. Explosives, reload, whatever. But once you get these cards, I would definitely be running these. Only thing I would swap out is whether you want to go just take the standard Nasher out damage or the standard overkill capacity, and then either the stim combo or the extended duration and the reload speed. I think either one of those is pretty good too.
Time's up. They're here.
So I'm just showing you what I was talking about making the overkill a sniper rifle. Right here we have the helmet. Oh, wait, I missed. There it is.
Back in your hole.
Flashbang incoming!
So I'm just showing you what I was talking about. One, you can still go in. Two, look at that headshot. You got one shot on the key factor. No, this is on intermediate, but we can increase the day. Line up the circle.
You're done.
The accuracy on it is incredible.
Shit, I'm out.
This is just intermediate top
Sniper
dependent. But as long as it hits, the main factor, it's not that you actually counter the headshot. What really matters is that it hits. So as long as that circle is lined up and you take the shot while it's lined up, then you're doing all that bleed damage. I would never drop the Nasher. You still got it for your close range. It's more powerful than the overkill to begin with. And if you run the Nasher card, which I'm running right now with the setup, then you'll be doing even 25% more damage. Is why, if I'm going to be playing her like this, a little bit more not rushing in, then I kind of like the ability to have my Nasher boosted to... Oh, I didn't even want to do that. Well, so, yeah. This makes her a more versatile character. She doesn't have to be rushing in all the time. Just save her cloak. The occasional offense, but more for like when people go down, go get them up, go get the content. If you're playing on a lower level difficulty, then it doesn't really matter. Well, I would think personally it doesn't really matter as much. So you're playing on a high level difficulty, safer cloak to go get people up, use it more strategically than offensively.
Got him!
And you can still have your narrative when they get close.
Walk it off! Get it off me!
They don't know what they're dealing with.
Minus
To show you the recoil really quick,
beat it. Come on.